Are you absolutely terrible at economy picking and sweep picking and maybe hybrid picking and maybe legato? Well, don't you worry, because so am I. And this video is basically just going to be me going through, kind of explaining some of the things that I'm struggling with when it comes to sweep picking and economy picking, and kind of some different ideas that I've been trying in order to try to get better at it. So essentially, to kind of give a brief overview, I've been playing guitar for about 10 years, and when I learned to sweep pick, I was basically just looking at some YouTube videos and watching how other people did it and trying to emulate it, and would try to see if, if I could do it. And now that I'm actually going through and trying to write music, I went through and also learned music theory, and I figured, well, maybe it's going to be a good time to actually go through some real lessons for learning. So I've been going through center.com to kind of learn everything related to like music theory and guitar techniques that way, kind of re-teach myself and maybe catch my bad habits that I've kind of formed over the years. And let me tell you, I got to the economy picking portion of the lessons, and it's more on the advanced side of things. But boy, oh boy, um, it is not fun trying to clean this up after doing it wrong for so long, or not really taking the time to really sit down and improve on it or really make it flawless. And yeah, you'll see that in just a second when I actually do some examples and kind of some things that I've been trying that Papa Gates has kind of said to do. But yeah, so this is more going to be a video off the cuff. I don't have any kind of script or anything, which is really unusual for me. Normally I have everything kind of laid out with at least some like bullet points that I go over and maybe just kind of covering it that way. But I figured this week, I'll just kind of speak off the cuff here and kind of just vent a little bit about my frustration with my ability to play. And if you're in the same boat, then maybe we can kind of learn together. Or if you have any tips for me or anything like that, then yeah, go ahead and leave them down below. But yeah, let's just kind of jump into it. If you don't know what sweep picking or economy picking is, then a quick example would be kind of like playing the intro from Coheed and Cambria. So normally when you play, you're either going down or up, or you're alternating between notes. But with this intro, you're sweeping through a chord and then continuing to play like that, and it kind of sounds like this. So this first part here is called sweep picking, and it's using economy picking as well, because what you're doing is you just, instead of individually picking each note, you're sweeping through. And it's all one fluid motion. So that's essentially what sweep picking is. It's a little bit more intense when you actually get to like full sweeps, and I'll kind of show that in a second. But economy picking at its core is normally if you were to play something like this. So I alternate pick that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3. And what's happening here is when I down, up, down, up, down, up, right? So that would be alternate picked. However, with economy picking, what you're doing is you're going down, up, down, down. And what this does is it saves you some time. So, and it makes it a little faster. But going down is pretty easy for me. It's the going back up, which I really kind of struggle with, and it's kind of taking some time to wrap my head around, but that would kind of sound like this, and I'm probably gonna botch it, but here I go. Hmm. It's so, that to me is so unintuitive, and it's really difficult for me to wrap my head around, and that's one of my biggest complaints. And this, because I struggle with going up like that, it really affects my ability to sweep something like this. So something like the Atreyu Bleeding Mascara intro will slow down. It would be this. So normally that is played quite a bit faster and it's all swept. So just like we did with the intro here, but instead of just going down, you're going down and then up and then down and then up. And that's essentially what sweep picking is. And it's just so frustrating, like going back up. And you can tell just by listening to that it doesn't sound quite as clean, so that's something that I'm really working on. So originally when I first started to learn how to do this stuff, I would just kind of play like that and I would just try to go as fast as I could, and but you can't really do that. You have to like really slow it down in order to learn this, and it's super frustrating. And it really makes you want to pull your hair out because it's just like, oh my god, this is like you want to look at this in two different ways. And then going back up. And the reason why I stopped there is because you can either make a decision to continue the sweep all the way up, but if you go up, then you have to immediately go back down. So it's either you either jump over this note and then go back down this way, starting on this note, or it just kind of depends on how you want to play it. But oh boy, I feel like I'm kind of ranting, but essentially that is an overview of what sweep picking and economy picking are. It is just very frustrating trying to learn this. And I'll kind of show you some things that I've been learning from Papa Gates's lessons and kind of things I've been trying to get better at it. And yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into that. So the very first thing that Papa Gates kind of brings up is this idea of not playing all the notes like this, but instead focusing on this interchange here from going between these two strings. So you just want to fall through and get used to that. And the same thing with going up. And even there, it still feels really weird in my wrist. I don't know why, but my mind just naturally is just like, oh, this is really strange going up like this. Just like following through. And one other thing to mention is normally if you're picking like this, you're not sounding this note out. So what you're doing is you're just so you're only playing or letting one note ring out at a time. So that's kind of like something I've been working on with it. Again, going down isn't too bad for me. It feels pretty natural. It's the going up part which I am really having an issue with. And really, I think I just need to slow it down and just continuously work on it. The other big thing for me, particularly, is not trying to get this to not sound like triplets, right? So that sounds like it's going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The hard part about doing this and making it sound even is how the notes rotate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. And this is the other hard part, I guess, is a lot of times you don't want this just to sound like triplets are firing off, like you want it to sound completely fluid, and that's another thing that I've been struggling in. I think it just comes down to those things where you just want to slow it down a little bit and just continuously practice at it, preferably with a metronome. And again, you can see that that's one of my main issues that I have is I keep pulling away. I feel like I'm not sticking to the strings well enough when I'm going up. Like it's like my wrist is afraid to just sweep upwards. Which I don't know. If you have that problem, then let me know how you've solved it. The next thing actually is actually on a couple of my guitars, Floyd Rose system. And what happens is it has this, if you don't know what a Floyd Rose is, it's essentially it has that bar, so the bar that you can pull back and forward to really like bend the notes really high or really low. And on that system, you have these tuners, these fine tuners here that sit on the bridge. And I find that a lot of the times when I'm playing, my hands, if I'm doing sweeps or something, it'll want to like bump into those fine tuners. And the thing with me that I've been trying to really get better about is kind of pushing my hands slightly forward so that way it doesn't happen, and then playing a little flatter like this. So that way I can avoid, hitting those things. And that's just one of those frustrations, that you just have. And that's another thing that I'm trying to do is just kind of keeping in mind where my wrist is compared to where it is on the Floyd Rose. So on this guitar, I don't have that problem because I can just rest my palm right here, and I can be right on the bridge if I want. But with the Floyd Rose, it's just kind of like, well, I'm kind of screwed now because now I have all these extra fine tuners, which I love the Floyd Rose on the guitars, but it just causes issues if I'm sweeping backwards like this. That's one movement that I do tend to do is I tend to move my hand back this way, so I'm sweeping down like this, and I should be probably sweeping down like this instead of at an angle like that. So that's just another thing that I find that I'm having issues with, and again, all these things are just bad habits that I've accumulated over the years. So, do you have any kind of ideas for how you guys have tackled this, or how you guys get over it? Then I guess just let me know. But for now, and that's essentially my very big frustrations. And when I'm running into these problems, it really makes me feel like, man, I'm a terrible player. Like I can't, just shred through all this stuff and then like economy pick all the way down, economy pick all the way up without any issues. But I guess at the end of the day, just one of those things where you just have to keep practicing. But yeah, again, let me know if you guys have any tips or if any of the ideas that I've been doing, specifically with focusing mostly on the jumping strings here, same with going up, as well as trying to do the timings to do it in fours instead of threes. Something like that to kind of break out of that triplet type of sound. Um, so yeah, it's essentially just been a rant video and just kind of going over anything I kind of struggled with.